Welcome here, Dan Doyle, recruiting coach manager at NCSA University or NCSA. And today I have the pleasure of talking with assistant coach Brandon Stromer from Simpson College in Iowa. Coach, how are you today?
Doing great, doing great. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about Simpson. So why don't you start off by introducing a little bit of your background and Simpson there?
Well, I've been to Simpson now for 11 years. Before this, I was at actually at Drake University, coached with Mark Phelps and Keno Davis. Was under those two guys, and their head coaches there. We had some pretty good success there when we were there. And prior to that, I played at Winona State and won a national championship in '06, and we lost one in '07. But had some pretty good teams there, and trying to take some of that background and some of that knowledge and try and win a lot of games and help a lot of kids and coach a lot of kids and hopefully try and win some titles here at Simpson.
Awesome. Absolutely. And, you're being a little bit humble. You were voted one of the top Division III assistants a few years ago. So that, should show a little bit about your coaching background and knowledge and how invested you are in, helping kids along the journey here. So I'm sharing a picture with Simpson College. Tell me a little bit geographically, where you're located just outside of Des Moines and just about this beautiful campus that you work at.
Yeah, we're really lucky to be in our location. I mean, we're probably 20 minutes south from downtown Des Moines, 10 minutes south of the Des Moines Airport, 3 hours from Kansas City, 2 from Omaha. So we're in a great location. We try to capitalize recruiting wise from all those cities. But yeah, you can go from Simpson campus to downtown Des Moines, and then, like I said, 15, 20 minutes tops. Probably 25 minutes from West Des Moines, a nice suburb area. But again, that actually helps us, Dan, with not only maybe living situations. You kind of get the best of both worlds as a student. You get a safe college town like Indianola, Iowa, of about 15,000 people. But if you get bored with that, then, which again, with a student athlete, you're very rarely are you bored. But if you want, you have the option of always going down to a major metro area in the state capital of Iowa, in a beautiful city of Des Moines.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're bored as a student athlete, then
you're not doing
probably tell you and get some more workouts going.
We don't get that bored comment very often, but you're right.
So, real good. Well, tell me a little bit about the academic profile that you look for at Simpson and GPA wise, test score wise, what you need to even get onto your recruiting board and begin the recruiting conversation.
Yeah, we can fluctuate here or there, but our average ACT score is about a 23 ACT, so definitely doable. We're a 3.5 average GPA is a 3.5 GPA, but again, we can let a 3.0 in. But again, and then transfer students are usually a 2.5 to 2.7. Will be an automatically accepted for transfers, and we get a lot of that too. Maybe you get a kid who files a scholarship offer from to an NAI or a Division II school, and it just was a better fit here. And they told us last minute that, hey, I'm going to go to take the scholarship offer, if you will. But then by January, maybe it wasn't the right fit, and they'll call me and they say, Coach Stroh, do you still want us? Well, or Coach Bjorkgren, absolutely. We're still here with open arms. So we get a lot of that as well. But again, so we're an average ACT of 23, 3.5 GPA, and a 13 to 1 student to faculty ratio. So that's kind of nice as well. So you really can't. We kind of tell our guys and recruits too, you can't hide at Simpson. It's a tough academic school, but a degree from there holds some merit, holds some weight. And being so close to Des Moines, we give kids internships, pretty good internships, no matter what field they're in. What field they're in. I mean, Des Moines is the insurance capital of the world, so between schools or physical therapy or whatever it might be, have a very solid, very big time chemistry, biology department here as well as far as education. So a lot of those internships, all those resources are either in Indianola or they're in Des Moines for that. And kids really take advantage of that. And I tell kids, I tell recruits, I tell our players, don't look at what a school can do for you, 2 years from now or 3 years from now when you're at Central. What can a school do for you if you're a senior, if you're a graduating high school senior? What can a school do for you 8 or 9 years from now? And everyone wants to win those championships. Everyone wants to have a great college career. But what school can really set you apart? What school can really help you hit the ground running for a nice career to help you make a lot of money and get in the career that you want to get into after college? And I think Simpson does a really good job of that, getting you ready for that, not only academically but also the internship wise and connection wise and the meeting and connecting wise.
Absolutely. And you as an assistant and me as a former assistant, we get those calls in January saying, hey, coach, like this isn't the right fit. Like it hits a kid. So it's good to hear that early in the process. And also, realize that those are key things that you should be looking for in a school here. And tell me about Simpson's, academic, majors. What are some more of the more popular majors on campus, or that your team, tends to gravitate to?
For our guys, and I touched on a few of them, but our biology chemistry department, we're one of the only schools in Iowa that have a cadaver lab downstairs, which is always interesting. I had a recruit one time who wanted to go, we were in a biology meeting, and he goes, he wanted to be a pre-med student. And us in Iowa and maybe one other school at pre-med. So we get a lot of those as well. And we're in this with the professor, and the kid just right out says, "Hey, can I see a body?" And mom goes, "I want nothing to do with that." Right? So, coach, you want to go down there with me? Well, the kid was he was a big kid. I got no choice. Yeah, let's go, man. Let's roll down there. So we go down there, and I'd never been down there before in the basement and it's a beautiful building. And you go down, and there's liquid nitrogen, the foam, the clouds on the floor, and they unzip something, and there's this cadaver. There's this old lady right there, and the kid's eyes just lit up. It was his field. He just loved it. And they popped the clavicle off and held the heart out there, and there was a little green wire around. And the project that day, the professor was saying, was they had to find out how she died. She donated her body to science, and that was the whole goal, was just find out what that semester, the whole class had to figure out how she died. Well, she didn't tell the class that she had a pacemaker. Didn't tell the medical people when she died she had a pacemaker. So that was kind of a crazy lesson, kind of crazy discovery. I mean, it looked like a wire coming out of a wall around her heart. It was kind of crazy, but the kid's eyes lit up. So kind of cool. We have a cadaver lab there, and like pre-med, but also the business majors, the chemistry. We have a really good criminal justice program as well, and the state patrol in Iowa. And there's many criminal law enforcement agencies in Des Moines. So again, and then let alone the education. Having any, and really what it does is for us, Dan, is say you're a teacher and you don't, a lot of times teachers have to do maybe teach at different levels and different areas. So really what you could do is you could teach in a smaller town, college town like Indianola, but you could also maybe get some experience in inner city Des Moines, maybe more of a metro experience, and then maybe a suburb area as well. So whatever area you're kind of looking for, if you want to choose your student teaching placement, you kind of give you a chance to get it all different kinds of areas, experience-wise,
awesome.
For future teachers.
Main question for you: the recruit that you took into the cadaver lab, did he sign with you? Did he commit?
Absolutely, we got him. Absolutely, yep, we got him, and it wasn't. It was one of the more interesting ones. We ended up getting him, and now he's actually doing pretty big things in Kansas City. And in Kansas City, to segue into there, we're pretty big in Kansas. We want to get Iowa kids and Des Moines and local kids as well, and that's important. But also, we have a lot of success in Kansas City. One, because I go down there a lot for AAU tournaments, whether it be the Hardwood Classic, the Jayhawk, whatever it might be down there. And then kids might say, kids have usually pretty good scores down there. There's a lot of talent down in Kansas City, a lot of talent everywhere, to be honest with you. We try to get to Omaha and Kansas City, but Kansas City, they get out of there and they say, "Oh, I'm talking to a coach from Iowa." And, you eventually develop a relationship with the kid and you say, "Okay, I'm going to come to your campus, coach." And then they get out of the car and they get here and they go, "That's pretty quick." Even though I'm in Iowa, 2 states away, that was only a 3-hour trip. I can get from Southside Kansas City, Olathe, Blue Valley area. I can get up to Simpson in about 3 hours flat. Well, I can actually go to half a practice that day and still be at a game down in Kansas City, a high school game at 7:30 to go watch kids play. So it's both what kids think if you're from Kansas City area. So, but again, we're able to get some of those kids because we're close to a metro area. We're not in the middle of nowhere, if you will, away from some kids like a metro area, especially kids that come from a metro area like to sometimes stay near a metro area, which I understand that. You get some kids that are used to a small town. Indianola has a little small town feel as well. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, but it really helps kids campus living wise, but also, like I said, internship wise and just overall living here for your 4 or 5 years you're here.
Real good. Yeah. Straight trip. What is it? 35 pretty much takes you right into Kansas City.
35 all the way up there.
Yep. Absolutely. I've been on some recruiting trips through that neck of the woods too. So you mentioned earlier, you have a 13-to-1 faculty to student ratio. That's a lot of individualized attention, which is outstanding. What else do you guys offer? Do you have a full-time academic advisor? Do you have team study tables? What else is there to aid these student athletes in their academic progression there?
I've been at some Division IIs and Division I schools as a player and on staff, and honestly, Simpson might have even better academic support than what we had at other schools, to be honest with you. We have a phenomenal academic resource center. We have probably 8 to 10 full-time employees, whether it be writing center help or just actually counselors. Maybe you're dyslexic, maybe you have certain issues that you struggle with. They have a great support system there because they want you to succeed. There are good people here who want you to succeed academically. Now, they're not going to do the work for you. You got to do the work yourself, but at the same time, you're not just going to be a kid like maybe at a bigger school, a state school, that's going to fall through the net if you're struggling with something. So Simpson does a nice job with stuff like that. And the biggest trick and struggle we have as coaches and people is getting those kids to actually go over there, have the humbleness. And I'm NCAA compliance as well. And when I talk to kids in our NCAA compliance meetings every day, I said, I can kind of compare it to basketball camp. Your academic counselors are like your tutors are like, treat it like basketball camp. You don't go to basketball camp because you're a bad player. You go there because you want to get better. I say the same thing with tutors. You don't go to a tutor just because you're stupid. You go there because you want to get better. You know, you maybe want to get that B- to an A-, or that B+ to an A-, or that C to a B, whatever it is. You want to help get better with some of that stuff. So getting those kids to actually humbly go over to an academic counselor, realize, oh, they're on my side and they're actually here to help me. But getting them to do that. And Simpson has the resources to actually help those kids, student athletes alone. But getting them over there and building that trust with that student athlete, once they're over there, like, they don't know. I mean, it really takes them above and beyond, academically once they go over there. So we have a great support center over there. We really do.
Outstanding to hear there. Shifting to the athletics side, tell me a little bit about your program's coaching style, philosophy. There at Simpson.
Yep, Coach Brad Bjorkgren and I we've been together for 5 years, going on 6 years now, and he came from Urbandale. He's in the Iowa High School Hall of Fame at Urbandale, so High School Hall of Fame legend over there. And trust me, people that know Coach, know Brad in the metro area, he is a legend, very good coach. And we also have Chris McMahon, was the director of ops at Drake, was the head coach at Des Moines Roosevelt inside. So we have some pretty good coaches on our staff, along with Chad Boston, who was a former player here when I first started coaching. That was on the Johnson staff. So we have some pretty good coaches here that we relate well to players. Kind of our style, Dan, is we want to recruit versatile, athletic guys. We want to play fast. We want to get shots up. And then you might want to say, hey, everyone wants to play fast, but you got to practice like that too. We're not going to go nose to nose with you. We're not going to cuss you out, stuff like that. There, might work for some coaches. That's not us. That's not our style. We don't want people looking over their shoulders. If Dan misses 2 or 3 threes in a row, we don't want you looking over the bench going, am I coming out? We want you to play a little bit free. Now you miss 10 or 12 threes in a row. Well, we might, you might hear a horn you might get a little rest beside us, but we don't want guys looking over their shoulders and playing tight, playing tense. We want guys that love the game, that want to play hard and play for their teammates. That's kind of what we're about. So we shouldn't have to get you to play hard. You should want to work. You should want to play hard for your teammates. And we feel like we call it a basketball family for a reason. Again, you play for your brother, be your brother's keeper, and when that guy next to you in your foxhole. That's kind of what we're all about.
Awesome. Yeah, Coach, if I missed 10 or 12 shots, number one, I've got the greenest light in the country. And number two, I'll probably pull myself out.
Yeah.
Because my arm's sore. I need to break.
Exactly. We had a coach who used to say, shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot. So
exactly. So you started to talk about your program's culture, about the brotherhood, that type of stuff. So continue to go into that. Tell me a little bit about what you're preaching, off the floor and how you're developing these young men with your program's culture.
Yeah, we kind of do the thing where you're trying to get some mentors, your senior trying to help your freshman. And I've never been a real clique of, hey, it's always the upperclassmen that get the privileges. I think, whether you're a senior, whether you're a freshman, we just take our turns taking the bag to the bus, for example. We're not going to make the freshmen just take all the stuff, maybe the jersey bag, the med kits and stuff on bus trips. Everyone's, no one's above, everyone's equal on that, whether it be your senior, your best senior, or your less talented freshman. Everyone's in this together, and our players do a nice job of that. We actually graduated 7 or 8 seniors last year, so we're starting out with a lot of new, a talented young group, but also a core of some transfers from NAI and some junior college transfers here that have great leadership skills, and we'll see what we can do this year. I mean, we got some talent and everything else, but we want them to play free. We want to be good kids as well, be good student athletes. And again, if you're going to be here, you have to be that, or if you're going to make it. Again, we've actually led the nation too, Dan, in NABC All Academic Awards. We've led the nation with 11. I think we're tied with somebody else. I think it was Swarthmore, someone else. We led the last 2 years. We've led the nation now. So we've had, I'd like to say we're cracking the whip academically, but we're not. We're just recruiting really good student athletes who come from good families who kind of have it figured out. That's important as well. So we just study table hours. We do 3 more study table hours a week than what the average student does here on campus. The student athlete requirement is 5 hours of study table a week in the library. We do 8 hours for our new freshmen and transfers. So again, if you think of 8 hours though, there's 7 days a week. That's a little over an hour a day studying wise. You should be doing maybe double that if you're going to be successful as a student in college. So 8 hours of study table, and that's never usually a problem getting there. But it just teaches kids how to study, teach kids how to be a student athlete and how to be responsible and set the tone here for your success on and off the court.
Awesome. Love to hear that. And, the foundation that you guys have laid over the last 4 to 5 years, you can start to see it in your tone. And what you're saying is that it's a player-led system. There's culture, there's buy-in, and now it's to a point where everyone's kind of knows what the expectations are, and your upperclassmen are, humble and teaching the freshmen the way of how to be successful. So that's outstanding to hear.
That's the goal. It's just with the average COVID year, it's just tough to have to see kids and have everyone see each other right now. But we're not going through anything that every other coach in the country is going through right now too. So it's just a matter of how can you be creative but also be safe. How can you progress as a program but also be safe COVID wise.
Absolutely. And so want to talk about your facilities real quick. You shared this picture with me, and, Simpson was always one of my favorite places to coach at. You guys always had a great crowd, great atmosphere. There's buy-in across, and then you guys have pumped a bunch of money and redone a few things. I see, a nice video board back there.
Yep.
So, really can see the buy-in from the administration here just to, get that. And is this against your rival? Is that Central?
That would be Central. Yep, that would be. We, anymore in any level, it's kind of an arms race. You have to build you have to keep building your facilities or you're falling behind. We have a lot of good facilities in our league, so you have to make sure you're constantly building. And let's be honest, with the suburban schools being so close to Des Moines as well, we try to recruit a lot of Des Moines kids or a lot of Kansas City suburban kids. A lot of times their high schools are as bigger than what we have. So you kind of have to make sure you're kind of staying up to date with some stuff. You can't fall too far behind. And we pumped a bunch of money into that, and then and our weight room is top notch, top of the line weight room fitness center. But again, and then everything else, there's all kinds of stuff going on across campus, which is it's a beautiful campus that actually fits us and is perfect for our student body. It really is. Nice student center and as well as a weight room. Yep, there's our weight room right there. Actually used to be a swimming pool, and they filled it in, and they built a brand new YMCA, beautiful big YMCA on the north side of town that our swim team competes at. And we had this big swim facility that we actually redid, extended the walls, and that's our new weight room. So it's a top-notch weight room that we're really pumped about.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's gorgeous. And I feel like I'm at a health club or a LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, whatever the high end one is these days. So that's gorgeous there. Tell me about your recruiting timeline. When do you usually start to identify prospective student athletes, and take me all the way through that point to, when you're expecting a commitment, or in a normal year, when you normally get those commitments?
Yeah, April is really a big month. April, May is a big month for us. You could say March, April, May, when you're finishing up the last year's class, getting commitments, pushing commitments, getting commitments, but you're also starting over your new list. I think, one of the first things I start out with in building our priority list is AAU tournaments. Like I said, that April AAU period, again, whether it be in Des Moines, Omaha, Kansas City, Chicago. Chicago's only 5 hours away too. So we got some pretty good, Minneapolis is 4 hours away. So if there's an AAU tournament in one of those surrounding Midwest cities, we are easily within driving distance of those. So I like watching an AAU kid early, because if the kid can make a play against some good AAU teams, some future Division I AAU players, they can maybe help us sooner rather than later. Now, I didn't say star. I didn't say be a star right away. I said you can maybe help us sooner rather than later, because I think a lot of kids, they think whether I'm coming Division II, Division III NAI, that I can get in right away because I think I'm Division I. There's some pretty damn good players at the levels. And when I came from Drake, Division I, Missouri Valley, to Simpson, there's some pretty good players. Our first game was against Augustana College with Gray Giovanni when he was there. I mean, that's a pretty good play. I mean, their starting 3-man was 6'9". That wasn't a 6'9" 3-man in the Missouri Valley at the time. So there's some good players that if you're willing to take some time, get better, bigger, faster, stronger, you could be. I mean, it's what it takes because these guys are 4 years older than you are, and if you're willing to do that and put in time, you could be a pretty good player for us. So it's just a matter of getting them to buy that in and getting to see that.
Mm-hmm. That Augustina team that you mentioned, I think eventually went on to beat Bradley in the Missouri Valley, a few years later. So, so give you an idea of,
So sorry I went on. I usually branch off into
good.
My wife just rolls her eyes, but anyway, yeah. So April's a good career like this. If I can see an AAU kid that makes a good play and start building that rapport and that relationship, then start building that relationship over the summer and then in the fall, and hopefully trying to get them on campus in the fall at least. Now some kids might play football, cross country, whatever, but then hopefully get them on campus for an official visit, roll the red carpet out for them, and then hopefully get them back again, get them and their family back for a game or two or a practice once the season starts. They can see that, kind of see how we are. And we like to bring our priority kids, we like to bring them back in the locker room during a game so we can see, hey, we might be one thing. We're not just being really nice to your face and then we go and we swear at our guys in the locker room. That's not how we do it. But now you can actually see us in a game setting. Mm-hmm. Now that we're more intense, but they can see us firsthand how we treat our guys in practice and in the games, in the locker room, stuff like that. And we like kids to see that. We really do. So kind of what you see is what you get. We want to be an open book with that and how we treat our guys. And we have good guys. I mean, the best sellers we have are our players. They really are. So hopefully get you here in the wintertime to see some of that, and then really, really crank it up by about February, March, April, really trying to get your commitment. And again, if you want to commit in November and you're a good player, we'll take you. But sometimes it takes a while for those kids to really want to commit maybe after their high school season. So we get a lot of our commitments, February and April. Some of that.
Makes sense. Real good. And then what's the program's goals over the next 4 to 5 years? What are you guys hoping to accomplish?
We want to be consistently in the NCAA tournament and keep going beyond and beyond. And our league is so, and every coach, it's just so coach cliche to say our league is the best. We have a pretty darn good league. Having Nebraska Wesleyans, the Coes, the Wartburgs, the Lorises. I mean, we got a good competitive league, and a lot of leagues are competitive. And Nebraska Wesleyan won the national championship here 2 years ago. So, and they're consistently up there. And we've had success, and we've beaten Nebraska Wesleyan twice in the last 2 or 3 years. So we're getting there. It's just our seasons have been ended by the eventual national champion or that level team. We want to get to that level too, as far as consistently making, being and playing in the NCAA. That's kind of our goal. And we're trying to recruit those kids that can really help us take us over the edge in that goal.
Awesome. Wanted to show this picture that you shared here. Looks like you're at an NBA game. You're trying to be the Lakers here, right? Showtime. You've got the dancers out there. So a little game day atmosphere.
We got a great student body, great cheerleading system, great following, and really, going back to our location, we got to maybe have a lot of Simpson fans or Simpson alumni that graduated there that maybe work in Des Moines, West Des Moines. They can still, if they want to, they can still come down to a game on our Tuesday or on our Wednesday, Saturday nights. So it's still good to be that. Another good thing about the location is a lot of alumni live close to us. They can still come to games.
Awesome. Yeah, this that's all. I remember this too. Like it seemed like you guys had a great game day atmosphere there and did it right for quote unquote small college ball. So
exactly. Yep.
And then campus life. Tell me a little bit about that. Are most of your freshmen that you recruit, are they pairing up and living together? And then, after that, are they, most of your team living together junior, senior year, on campus, off campus? What's that look like normally?
Yeah, we actually have our on-campus and our off-campus housing are very similar. You can technically be off-campus housing, but you're also a block away from campus, which is kind of nice as well. You're within walking distance. But yeah, a lot of times, most of the time, our teammates or our incoming players will room together. And a lot, we'll bring it, if we do an league camp in the summertime, late summertime, we might have we'll have our incoming freshmen, some of those players come in and work that camp, and we'll pay them to work that camp. But now what happens with that is it sounds stupid, like irrelevant, but what it does is now when those kids come back in August to move-in day, they all know each other. They spend a week with each other at camp. So it's kind of like your own little fraternity. They walk in, and just really helps that adjustment period for that August when the moms are crying moving in on move-in day. The kids basically say, "Oh, thanks, Mom, I'm out." And hey, Coach, have you seen my son? Oh yeah, they're walking around. 2 or 3 of his teammates running around campus. They already, Mom and Dad are looking for them, like thinking they're beginning crying, and they're already with their teammates, kind of hitting the ground running on that. So we're lucky with some of that, and to build the relationship. And again, it goes back to recruiting good players and actually good kids that you want in your program. But again, on campus, and every now and then there's an example. One of our best players a couple of years ago, it was a weird situation where he was a late commitment and he roomed with a baseball player. Okay, well, athlete and athlete. But what happened was the two teams actually got to be really good friends. Mm-hmm. So And we actually had baseball players with their shirts off, painted with their chest painted at our games, and our guys would do the same thing in the springtime for them. So that we had a nice little baseball, basketball kind of, brother fans, if you will. So
Yeah.
that was kind of nice too. So sometimes if you room with another athlete at the same time, you kind of get that team to team bond as well. So, but yeah, for the most part, guys do live together on campus. And then when they're upperclassmen, again, we have apartments off campus that are nice too, that guys like to live in as well. But they're only 2 or 3 blocks away from campus, so you're not 2 or 3 miles away and anything else. So their off campus housings around campus is readily available.
Awesome, great. And then in terms of work study, do a lot of the players on your team have work study, or is it flexible enough where they could work a part-time job on campus, off campus if needed?
Yeah, definitely. We try to respect. I mean, everyone, if a kid wants to work and make money and work even harder, we're not going to ever sway against that. But at the same time, a lot of times, whether it's a work thing or it's a class, maybe you have an internship in Des Moines, and you might say, hey, coach, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I might be 15 minutes late for class. Mm-hmm. Well, what's more important? We want them at practice. What's more important, that first 15 minutes of practice 2 days a week, or that internship that's really going to help you gauge your career and help you with your career farther down the line? Well, so we're realistic and stuff like that. We see the big picture. Plenty of internship opportunities, plenty of other places in town that love to hire Simpson student athletes because they're dependable, they're trustworthy, and they have a good reputation around town. So there's plenty of kids. Actually, one of our guys just got a job at Hy-Vee the other day because, again, people ask, they want Simpson athletes, student athletes. Mm-hmm. So, again, it says something for the school and for our athletic department that people want to hire Simpson student athletes for part-time job. It really is.
Great to hear. If I'm an interested student athlete right now and I want to start the recruiting process with you guys, what's the best way to get on your radar and open up lines of communication and begin the recruiting process?
Yeah, if you go to our athletic website, simpsonathletics.com, and there's a recruit me tab right away there. Fill that stuff out. We look at them. That goes right to Coach Bjorkgren and I, and we'll see that email pop up and see your stats and everything else, and fill that out, and attach any game film you might have to that, any stats. Your academic stats are just as important as your athletic stats. If you leave one out or the other out, it might be a little bit of an eye raiser. Why? Not always, not every time, but you can please fill that out the best you can on that, and then we'll do some research. Call us, email us directly, and we'll check you out. And again, we probably get anywhere from 10 to 15 emails maybe a day, probably close to 30 a week for any range from kids that want to go on. You remember as a coach, your email's always blowing up with kids that want to inquire. So some don't have the grades, some aren't, some probably aren't talented as we need, but again, we're always willing to look at them and give you a fair shot.
Absolutely. And then anything we didn't cover about Simpson that you want to share here on the
interview? Well, and I briefly touched on it, but it really is a great place with great people in a great location. Anyone comes on campus, a lot of times we'll come on campus and the moms or dads of a recruit will be like, everyone, as they're walking on campus, everyone will say hi to them, and they'll say, Coach, I got to be honest with you, did you pay these people to be this nice to us? They come from East Coast, West Coast, and they come to the Midwest, and mainly it's a Midwest thing, but it is. You'll see everything, but there are really nice people on campus. They really are, and even we've had Arizona recruits come up or Texas recruits, and there'll be squirrels or something. They got their phones out taking pictures of all the wildlife on campus because it's a beautiful lot of trees and there's squirrels everywhere. And sometimes those damn squirrels, you got to step over them because they're so domesticated. So you get a lot of that too. So people, if you're from an East or West Coast and you come on campus, you'll be pleasantly surprised how nice it is.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And that was the biggest thing. I came from Chicago and I coached in Iowa a little bit. And I remember going to the grocery store and the lady behind me first time was just like, how are you today? And just normal conversation, like she's known me my whole life. And so that Midwestern hospitality is definitely true. And especially in Iowa, I thought that was some of the nicest peoples. And most importantly, what you're saying there is you got people invested in who you are and what you're becoming and your future there, and that's always great to hear as part of the recruiting process.
Well, and it's no coincidence. Even my time at Drake, which Drake's a very similar school to Simpson, where we'd have guys come from all over the country and they're still in Des Moines working. We have guys from Simpson all over. We recruited from all over the country. They get jobs in Des Moines and they stayed here. So it's a good Midwest city with plenty of opportunities. They actually call it the young professional capital of the world because there's a lot of young professionals that live and work here. So
absolutely. So Awesome, Coach. Well, thank you so much for sharing, about Simpson and the academics and the program that you guys are building there. Really appreciate your time. Recruits, check them out. Fill out that recruiting questionnaire if you're interested, and then also check them out online once the season gets going. A lot of these games are streamed through Stretch Internet. Really good quality productions that these schools are putting together, and you can see the system that they're running. And like Coach mentioned, the high quality of basketball that's being played. That American Rivers Conference is top notch. Has I guess they're still claiming the reigning national champion since no one won it last year due to COVID. Each year that there's a handful of teams that are vying for it, and just a fantastic league there. So, Coach, once again, thank you so much for your time, and really appreciate you stopping in here for the interview.
Yeah, thanks again. And like I said, any recruits or any other people interested, don't feel free to give us a call, reach out, and you can follow us on Twitter at SCStorm_MBB, and you can follow us on Twitter as well. And we like to update and give the latest updates for our program in school. We'd love to hear from you. So
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you again, Coach. You have a great day.
Thanks again.